We are the one, the light in the dark. One heart, one world, one spark. We are the one, together we rise. One dream, one voice, one sky.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is another episode of Women Empowered Across the World podcast, and I'm going to hand it over to Megan.
Thank you very much, Carol. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you guys with us. And a special thank you to our hosts who have popped in to support our special guest, Aurelia Jonah, today. So Aurelia is all the way from Durban, I almost said Cape Town, South Africa. And she's going to be telling us her story today and sharing what her vision for her future is. So before we get to Aurelia, I'm just going to ask each of our hosts to quickly introduce themselves, tell us where they're coming from and what it is they do. So I'm going to start with Carol. Carol's on the top of my screen, so let's do this.
Hi, everyone. My name's Carol Witt, and I am from Bradenton, Florida, and just got over two major hurricanes and doing great. And I am the founder and director for YEA Global, and it's where we teach you that everyone deserves to thrive.
Thank you, Carol. Awesome. And sending lots of hugs and love to your community while they start rebuilding and just getting themselves back on track, sending all our love your way. And then Dr. Cara, would you like to step in here?
Yes, thank you, Megan. I'm Dr. Kara. I'm located in Austin, Texas. I'm a relationship marketer turned naturopathic doctor. I help empower women and educate them on how to transverse some of their biggest health concerns so that they can live their life's purpose.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Kara. And then Jackie, hello. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you, Megan. So good to be here. I'm Jackie Sicoli, and I'm your global reach. I do what I can to assist to bring resources to the underserved population so that we can increase love, prosperity, and peace.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jackie. And on that note, I think Aurelia is ready with us. So please, Aurelia.
We haven't heard from you.
Do you want to?
Of course.
So sorry about that. So my name is Megan and I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa, not Durban. And I am an advocate for global literacy. I am a copywriter, content creator, and all-round multi-passionate entrepreneur. So that's me in a nutshell. Thank you very much. So thank you for the reminder, Carol. And then let's step into Aurelia's space. Aurelia, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, and why we have you here today to share your story, please.
Before I begin, I would just want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, Megan, and to all of you for allowing me the opportunity for sitting at the table with you all today. I have read y'all's bio, and each and every one of y'all in y'all's team are very inspirational, impactful, and it's just an all-out wow. So to be here today, all I can say is there's so much of excitement and I'm so thankful for it. So yes, my name is Aurelia Jonah and I am from Durban, South Africa. And I am a business owner in the agricultural space. So I have a business called ATLA Projects, and it stands for All Things Logistics and Agriculture. So my story, I'm not going to take it so far back, but my journey actually starts. I'm only going to go back a year ago. So a year ago, I was employed in corporate and I was in the same company for the last 8 years. However, there was no opportunity for growth. And I know because I always say the stat, so Megan might actually remember when I call out these numbers. 488 applications, both internally and externally, with no interviews and all declined. And when I looked at it that way, I was like, I was at a point in my life where I did not want to remain where I was, simply because had I stayed there, I would never know who I would become. So I took a decision to leave corporate, as scary as it was, especially when family and those that rely on you because you have certain responsibilities. When you make a bold move like that, emotions are not stable. In fact, everybody around you doesn't know what's going to happen or what the next steps are, with myself included. And it was scary, but I don't regret it. I'm not saying that where I am now is perfect or that I've made it or that I'm established, but I am enjoying the journey that I've been on in the last 12 months. A little bit about this journey that I'm talking about. I think one of the things that we as women don't want to talk about or have only recently started speaking about is the mental health and the effects that it has on us. And sometimes we navigate through it on our own, whether we have support, whether we don't have support, but the impacts of our mental health will actually affect our next moves in every area of our lives, whether it's family, whether it's work, whether it's business, whether it's our personal relationships, or anything that I may not have mentioned, but it does happen. And I think my journey for me is so important right now is because I personally navigated through this mental health walk. And when I say that, I mean, there were days where I was very despondent. There were days where I doubted myself. And I'm pretty sure for a long time that my thoughts were depressive. Not that I had depression, but the negativity of everything around me, especially like all those declines, it can push you into a corner where you don't know what is meant for you. You don't know who you are, and you don't know if what you're trying to do will be successful or not. And when I made the decision to leave corporate, at the time, as much as my husband was there and he said it's okay because he's also self-employed, and he was like, I support you in everything that you do. But there is one statement that he made to me that I hold dearly. And that was, you can remain at work and you can decline with the anxiety and the depressive thoughts, but I'd rather you stay at home knowing that my wife will still be alive. And that is a very powerful statement, but it's also very scary because I, at that moment, could not realize how the effects of the decline in mental health was actually affecting me. And yes, I agree, it was there because it was such an uncomfortable and shaky road to be on. But I had to go through it because had I not been through it, I would not be here today. So in that exposure to all this ugliness that I feel like the world was throwing at me, because here I am, an individual who has studied, who has been working for the last 14 years. I have degrees in both business and in IT, so I have an IT background as well. And I'm thinking to myself, as a specialist in my field, why can't I then find another job? And the reality of it was locking me in a bolt-in chain. So then I woke up one day and I said, I'm meant for more. So do something about it. So in 2024 started, I was at home. So I was unemployed, as much as I always used to tell people, no, I'm in the business with my husband, so I'm self-employed with him. But the reality was I was unemployed. And everybody around me saw the smile on my face and they saw me doing what I needed to do. But when I was alone, that's when the reminder was, hey, you are unemployed. Hey, what's going to happen to all your expenses? Hey, what's going to happen to all your financial commitments? What's going to happen when people are saying, you made the wrong move, you should have not left, or you should have remained there, or where to now? And that's exactly the same question that I asked myself, where to now? So I come from a Christian home, and the one thing that I hold dear to me is my relationship with God. And so I took everything to him. And even if I had made a mistake, I trust God enough to know that even in our mistakes, he is there and he can always turn things out for our good. So I came across a local seedling farmer in the year who was doing it on a very small scale. And it started to grab my attention. And I didn't realize it in that moment. But when I liked that he was doing seedlings, he wasn't even doing it as a business. It was more of a hobby. So he tried it for the last decade and it never worked out, but he enjoyed doing it. But suddenly the ball started rolling in my mind on how this can actually be a business. So my husband's in the logistics space, and with him, they do more of the work that's in the port. So that's with the sea vessels and moving the containers to the depots in South Africa, in Durban. And so I understood the logistics of it. But slowly but surely, just like a spider's web, ideas started coming to me in why wouldn't agriculture and logistics work together? And what I started to do was I started to brainstorm and I started to research and I started to do all the things that every entrepreneur does, which is run through all these ideas in my mind and to try and figure out how can this become a business? Yes, I do not have a background in agriculture. I just know as much as the next person where with what we read and what we see. But the idea stuck with me. And I didn't want to let it go. And eventually it came to a point where I said, I'm going to do this. I am going to start a business that has both logistics and agriculture incorporated in one. So a lot of people, when I say the name of my business and what it is, the first question they ask is, why logistics and why agriculture? My newfound answer is, why not?
Mhm.
Because it is up to me as the entrepreneur to make it work. It is up to me to fit in it like a puzzle piece to get it to work together. And so basically the essence of my business is to supply seedlings to both domestic and commercial farmers in South Africa. And there's a long process in doing that, especially once you start supplying to the commercial line, because you do need to be registered with the South African Growers Association of South Africa, which is a process to follow. But I can start, and therefore I did start, especially with the domestic farmers. And then I met Megan. So I joined a program called Ignite, and it was through the college that I have my degrees through Mancosa. And Megan was one of the coaches. So we had our first encounter, and we actually walked the same journey together for that weeks that we were together. And let me just tell you that that is where I actually started to find the entrepreneur side of myself. There were a lot of questions along the way that I did not have the answer for. In one of the specific weeks, it was, who are you? And like, what's your purpose? And what's your vision? And what's your mission? And then you have to apply the same thing for your business. In those 2 weeks, my head was spinning. And I say that I could not get an answer. It's because it's those questions, or there are some questions that we hide deep within our soul or at the back of our head, where we want to always shun it aside because we don't want to address it, because it's those hard questions in life that we tend to avoid. But I had to go back and I had to deal with it. I remember my first interview in joining Ignite. I was asked by the founder, who is Peter. He asked, what do you want from this? And I simply said, in 10 years, I want individuals of my age to have opportunities that I seem to not get at this moment, which is opportunities for employment. So in that journey of going through Ignite, I had discovered that, yes, the economy may not be great. Yes, there are going to be a lot of obstacles along the way. However, if I want to see change, then I have to be the change that I want to see. And that is when I officially took the business into that stage where I registered it. And I stand by that simply because there are so many forces out there that are against me in my own personal journey in trying to get into work in the corporate sector, but I can become an employer in the future that can give the opportunities that the others are not, to people who you and I don't know how impactful they can be when they are established. And you know, like how when you go on LinkedIn and you see all these things where HR, individual or recruitment specialist actually, where they will post and they say, I'm thankful to the person, or it's actually a post that I saw by one a specific individual who I don't remember the name, but they said, I am thankful to the first manager who gave me a chance when I did not have any experience. I feel that's where I want to be because I want to fill that gap, knowing what it feels like to have so many declines and not being able to get a job, even though I do have the education and the work experience. I can be that employee to give somebody a chance so that they can become the best version of themselves. Even if they don't remain in my business, it's fine. I gave them a stepping stone to reach where they need to go. And from there, again, like my little spider's web, it started to come to me where I realized that my true passion is to be an agent of change. And it sits with me, it's because that's what we are taught even in church and even in our faith. It's that go out there and do the little things for communities who do not have. And so that part of me has always been within me because that's how I was raised. So doing this now from a business perspective or a work perspective will be easy because I've done it before. And that's where sustainability had come in. Because I may not develop this business to a point where I'm an established entrepreneur to employ 400 plus people. But I do have a desire that way I can use agriculture to teach people basic skills. So even if they are unable to find a job, they can grow food and sell it and earn an income in the meantime until they find their way wherever the road may lead to them. And so self-sustainability within the agriculture space also resonates with me. So that is why I want to make a difference through whatever I do. That is just me on a personal level on what I would like to desire from my walk going forward as an individual, as an entrepreneur, or as a business owner. But for my business in itself, it didn't stop there. The vision that I have for Atla is not just to be a seedling supplier to farmers. It will always be there because that is the foundation. We all know agriculture will never end because the supply of food is always there. But when I incorporated logistics, as much as we will still continue doing the port work on that side of it, the agri circle in the food chain is massive. So the distribution sector would require logistics. And so it is knitted beautifully. And that's when I realized I made a good choice when I said logistics and agriculture, because it is knitted together in ways that I did not realize before. But there are opportunities for growth for both divisions of the business, logistics and in agriculture. I'm a fairly new entrepreneur because it's just 1 year, and yes, I am a startup or an SME, how you would look at it. But I'm not going to stop, simply because I don't know where the next journey ends. And because I have education and a background in IT, innovation in agriculture is big. So who knows? Maybe while my business is still running, I can also be impactful to the agriculture space through technology, because you also use agri-tech in the future plans for agriculture, which allows, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the word hydroponics, but basically it's more streamlined farming that can be done in a small space that won't use up a lot of natural resources. And look, hey, a light bulb moment for me. Maybe studying IT was a good thing. Maybe I could be used in that way. There is a lot of maybes, but right now the hope that I have for this business compared to a year ago, where I was a year ago and where I am today, I'm grateful for the journey that I've been on, as much as it was rocky. And yes, you wonderful ladies are also entrepreneurs. So you know, in the beginning of your business, you had your good moments, you had your bad moments. And nobody really teaches us how to navigate through those valley moments, right? But it's there and it's real. But when I look back to 2023 compared to this year, I am not the same person. And if I remained, it stands true that if I remained where I was, I would not know who I could be today or who I can be in the years to come. There is so many opportunities out there, that is why I love the opportunity for networking. So from Ignite, I completed that course, I then went and I got into another program which is specific for agriculture business owners, and it is by the African food change makers, and it's for the Africa continent. So I started to get exposed to how farming is done in the northern, eastern, and western parts of Africa. And there's also opportunity to network there. Maybe it may not necessarily result in a collaboration, considering that we are in different countries, but the knowledge I gained can't be taken away from me. So if something had to happen where I could be exposed to Africa, I actually know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what they need to further progress there in that area. So I completed BRACE, which actually stands for Building Resilience Against the Climate Change in the agriculture space. And that is some knowledge that I personally needed, considering I am a business owner in agriculture. But I'm not stopping there. Next week, I joined Carol's program, YEA. And I'm taking all opportunities that I can learn from to better myself as an individual. And as a young entrepreneur, I don't know where the doors of the next opportunity will come from, possible collaboration, job offers, or whatever it is. But I have the right mindset. I believe if I started this a year ago, that this business wouldn't have been successful, because I hadn't walked the journey that I did. And I know it's not over, but I wouldn't have had the positivity and I wouldn't have had the exposure to these different courses, because I would be time constrained with my day-to-day job. That is why, again, I will say I'm grateful for this last 12 months, because I'm not saying I've made it, but I'm saying that the right time to start my business was this year, because I can look back and I can say who I am now is not the same person I was last year, and I have the right mindset, the positivity, I have the goal in mind, I have the vision in mind to be the change maker or the agent of change that I say I want to be. And with that, I just want to say thank you.
Wow. Wow. What an amazing story. You are going to inspire so many women out there. So I have a question for you, and I'm sure everyone else wants to ask you something, but I want to know, like, what do you have a support structure that cheers you on, that says you can do this? Like, what is your support structure? And I'm so thrilled you're going to be a part of YEA, because it is a support like you've never experienced before. But what is your support structure to keep you going and keep you up the way you are? Your energy is amazing.
So it is my husband, because he was there with me when I made the decision to leave work. And I'll be honest, I was exhibiting physical symptoms of my anxiety. I used to like break out in hives. I used to have panic attacks in my sleep. It was not a good space. I reached a point where I knew I needed to make a change, because when you start having physical symptoms of such hectic anxiety, or for the lack of a better word, you know something has to give. So you need to change that environment. So he was there with me from that moment.
Oh.
Maybe the rest of family wasn't supportive at that moment, because they didn't understand. And it's human nature to have fear, because you're taking this bold move and nobody knows, okay, where is the income for the next month's expenses going to come from? And I totally understood it. But as the year went on, and when I joined the Ignite program, and I met fellow entrepreneurs who are also on the same journey, it eased my pressure, because then I was in the room with like-minded people. And then from there, the exposure to BRACE, and as you said, I get great things to look forward for in YEA. This has all become the support structure that I've needed. But my personal go-to, even on the days of doubt, here and now, is my husband, because he's also an entrepreneur, so he understands it well. And that's how we've learned to communicate better and support each other in times like this, so that we can also learn from each other how to navigate through it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Dr. Kara has a question for you, and then Megan. Go ahead, Dr.
Oh, yeah, Aurelia, thank you so much for sharing today. Your story is incredibly inspiring, both to myself as well as I'm sure many, many members that are going to be listening to this podcast in the future. And thank you so much for touching on mental health. It's something that we see regularly out here in the United States, and we feel like it's just kind of boxed in out here, but it's a worldwide pandemic at this point. A support system is very, very important. But were there any other tools that you could give our listeners that they'd be able to utilize maybe at home or within their communities, so that if they were suffering from the same ailments, they would be able to get some help themselves?
I think for those that are spiritual, they should pray, because I did that a lot. I prayed. I'm not ashamed to say it. I strongly believe in my faith, and so that's what I did. I pray daily. But the biggest tool I could give to you, and I don't know how people will take it when I explain why, is to speak about it. So I'm Indian, and in an Indian community, it is frowned upon to speak about mental health, and it comes from previous generations, and it's not wrong, because maybe that's how they were raised. But I feel with me, generational barriers need to break. So whatever the pattern was before, it ends with me. So if you were told to be quiet before, no, it ends with me. So that women can learn to share. And thank you for this question, is because in church, what I've done is I'm part of this women's forum. So it's a social thing. So it's not like a podcast like this, where all the ladies, young and old, come together, and we have it anywhere, somebody's home or even at the church, or basically in a comfortable environment. So we call it coffee talk. And it's simply a safe space where you can talk about the issues that you can't at home. What troubles you, whatever it is, it could be anything, what you don't understand, what you're going through, how you're feeling right now, and then the rest of us can share if they have personal experience with it, or just give words of encouragement. So it's also like a safe space for women to learn along the way that you don't have to keep it to yourself, because you don't know, maybe the next person is also going through the same thing. And it's new. And in the beginning, there was a little bit of resistance because people are afraid. And it's natural, because you don't know if the person is going to share your story or gossip, how it is. But now that it's catching on, and now that it's towards the end of the year, where it was in the beginning when we started to where we are now, they're so much more relaxed. They're so much more free. And sometimes when you speak about it, even to your confidant, or maybe to somebody who doesn't know you, so that you don't, in case you have that fear that others will find out, anyone that's willing to listen, it is such a weight off your shoulder the day you open your mouth and start to talk about it.
Beautiful, really beautiful. Megan, you have a question.
Thank you, Carol. Aurelia, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. I love the part of your story that you opted to share with us today. Just a reminder, don't get rid of that husband. I've told you this a few times over the course of our friendship. And also just hold on to that spark, that hope, that inspiration, that can do it attitude, because that is exactly what's going to take you to where you want to be. I am inspired by you, and I have been for a while. So I just want to encourage you to please just hang in there, do what you need to do. The reason I brought you here, and I'm warning you to hang on to your wig, because I know Jackie's dying to say something here, and everybody's going to be grabbing little bits of you as soon as the session ends, or even before. But enjoy the journey. I think that's the biggest part of it. Enjoy it. Make sure that you are wanting to be in that space that you're creating for yourself, and from there everything else will flow. And then I see Alina's hand is up, so I was going to say she joined us a bit late. Hi Alina, and maybe you should just introduce yourself quickly before you even ask your question. Thank you.
You're muted, Alina.
Okay. So apologies once again. Today I just, it was a victory of the system and network issues with my laptop. That's why I am on my iPhone. But anyway, I couldn't miss it. I just wanted so much to listen to this story, but I read something about you before the meeting. So yes, I know what we are talking about. My question will be very similar to the questions I asked previous guests, because I always wonder what are the specific challenges in starting the business as a woman. Are there any challenges? How do you think? Did you face any problems?
Yes, there are many challenges when I started, even now, and I'm pretty sure until I continue.
What's up?
So in agriculture, the essence of it is without farmers, you don't have a business because you need farmers to buy the seedlings from you. The whole aim is to convert the farmer, instead of putting seeds into the ground, use the seedlings. But where the farms are based, not only are they very far away, but getting appointments with farmers are not easy, because you can drive the 2.5 hours and you say, but we have an appointment, but they're people that are on the land, and if their day is caught up maybe due to bad weather, it affects you because you went all that way. And they don't have websites, and they're not on social media. So getting in touch getting in touch with farmers is very difficult. It requires you to physically go there. So I recently came in contact with a person. She's a TSR, which is an animal, livestock and crop nutritionist. And she was the one who put me in contact with 6 commercial farmers in KwaZulu-Natal. And so I'm in the process of trying so long to get an appointment, but when I do, I'm going to go and see them. So between the 6 of them, they have 40 acres of land. So that's massive.
Right.
And I don't know, but I'm just going to introduce myself, tell them what I do. Fingers crossed that doors open. But once that happens, I know that I'm headed in the right direction. Same with the domestic farmers. You have to physically go there. You must know farms don't even have an actual address here. So it's like you're driving along the road and like, oh, wait, there's a farm. Let's stop. It is like that. It is. But another challenge along the way is that I do need to get certificates or certified in the agricultural space. So I don't know what the challenges will be as yet, because you do need to be operational for a certain amount of time before they will even come and assess you. So I basically am outsourcing the seedlings at the moment. I say outsourcing because I'm not physically growing it myself. The seedling farmer is growing it on my behalf. So we all work together, but I don't want to be the person to say, oh, he works for me. No, he's also a businessman in his own right, but that's how we're doing it. So I don't have any horticulture background to say that I'm the one doing it, but I still took it and I made it into a business. So
Beautiful.
hopefully
Beautiful.
that will be okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah, you didn't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
And something I just shared with my students, and I want to share it with you, and it's nothing will cost you more in life than a predetermined belief that things aren't going to work out. And your story really proves that. You went with, I'm doing this. It's going to work out. So just know you're going to be blessed in you taking this on, you making this happen. Your efforts will be blessed.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Wow.
So there is one more thing. I'm not sure if anyone or going forward, you will see my LinkedIn, and on there, I have something called a modern agricultural revolutionist. I call myself that, but what it actually is an affirmation. I'm declaring that that's what I want to be. But I put it down as if I'm doing it already because, again, why not?
I love that.
Absolutely.
Again, why
Absolutely.
not? Love that. I so love that. So we will be putting any information you want to send to us. You can send it to Megan. I will be putting it in the description so people can reach out to you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So amazing to have you on today. It was so amazing. Yeah. So, okay. So anyway, this is our episode, guys.
Right.
Thank you, Megan, for introducing us to Aurelia, and I look forward to working with her. Oh, we've got one more. Jackie's
Okay, Jackie.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with my hand up twice. How else can I do this?
right. And I am like, okay, we got to get into it. So let's have you come and share a question with her, okay?
Okay, I'm extremely impressed, as you might guess, with all the things that you've done and what you've brought forward. And I love a lot of your comments. And we have lots of resources for you. Of course, she has to know Susie. Obviously, she has to know Susie. And she has to know Bailon. Bailon in the Philippines had the seed bank. Seed bank. Grasp the concept. People come to you, they get the seeds, they grow the plants, and that which is produced, they come back to get their receipt back. So it's a wonderful concept. So we have lots of resources for you as you go along, and you couldn't have any better women working with you to do that. And I love the what if, and I want your goals to be the big bodacious goals, okay? And you are doing that. It's just amazing. I am extremely impressed. I guess probably my biggest question to you right now is what do you need right now? Because that's always at the top of my mind.
It's always on the top of my mind too, but suddenly my mind is blank. I think as any entrepreneur, I would need people in the agriculture space that I can network with on the side where I can actually do business and gain income from. I mean, we don't like to say it, but it's the truth. Be able to network with people that would be willing to fund me simply because the requirements, sorry, my English is leaving me there. The requirements for funding sometimes I don't qualify for because you need to be operational for a certain period and you need to have certain stuff that I don't. But that's the truth. Everybody needs funding to grow their business in some way or form. Yes, networking with agricultural people because I do have a lot to learn. And yes, I do know Susie, and I know I'm gonna see her more in the YA. In fact, I've seen even her podcast, and it really screams on the inside, that's where I need to be. Like she's truly inspirational. But as experienced, so I think I feel like I'm answering incorrectly or I'm forgetting some stuff. But as experienced entrepreneurs yourselves, um, maybe you'll know the answer I'm supposed to be saying that maybe I'm not fully aware of as yet. Because I'm open about it and I say I'm still learning. So sometimes when um, I should be giving a right answer, I don't actually know that this is what I need right now. Because remember, agriculture in South Africa means I would love to get in contact with more farmers on this side because that's the foundation of my business. But I'm not only looking for my business, I'm looking for myself. How can I be of service to you? Because I have a background, I'm a business analyst actually. So how can I use my IT background to help you or help your industry? So I want to grow as an individual and as a business.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, my
Beautiful,
dear.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many people that I could give you, and there's one in Sierra Leone that's doing the same thing. I also have someone in the United States that's doing it in Ghana with having women raise the chickens and the produce and the borehole and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, we're filled with resources. You just got to
Oh,
dream big enough.
Lots of resources, Aurelia, for inside of the YEA program. We have so many permaculturists in
That's
YEA,
true.
trainers, and so much. So just get ready. Just get ready to see things start exploding. Remember, the biggest piece is that you speak what you want in your life so that it comes to your life. Okay. That's it. And that's what we do. We declare in YEA all over the place, and you'll have a platform to be able to share it all. So get ready. Thank you guys. Thank you once again for an amazing episode. Amazing. I cannot wait to get this up and start sharing it with people. So anyway, please comment, share it, and please come and watch our episodes. They're amazing. And if you'd like to be a guest, please reach out to one of us. We're all on LinkedIn. You can find us all over the place. Okay. Please reach out to us and let us know. And we have a lot of people already registered for next year to be on this podcast. So get your date with us. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And this was so amazing. I'm just leaving so full. Thank you. And really, I'm looking forward to working with you in YEA. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Thank you.
One we stand